thank you everyone for coming. This is the very first meeting of the semester for In Safe Hands, so we appreciate you guys coming. Just so everyone's a little bit familiar with what the org is and what we stand for, In Safe Hands is an inclusive organization that looks to discuss the intervention protocols or lack thereof in situations of sex trafficking and other forms of human trafficking in healthcare settings. In Safe Hands uses the voices of survivors and anti-trafficking educators to introduce students to the signs of trafficking, as well as teaching them safe methods to intervene and support victims. All students are welcome regardless of major, future profession, and or race. I would like to mention that there is a membership fee of $20 to be paid to our treasurer for all members who are interested. So please see our treasurer after the meeting. So just so you're familiar what sex trafficking is, here's the definition. Sex trafficking is the recruitment, harboring, transportation, provision, obtaining, patronizing, or soliciting of a person for the purpose of commercial sex act by the use of force, fraud, or coercion. Okay, those three words are very important, so keep that in mind. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce you guys to the e-board, starting with myself. My name is Isaiah Boateng. I'm a third-year biomedical science major on a pre-med track. The reason I got interested in anti-human trafficking work started in high school when I learned that the mistreatment that this group of people faces, and ever since then, I wanted to do my part to help out.
Hello, my name is Zainab PJ and I am the Vice President. I'm a microbiology major on the pre-med track, and why I joined In Safe Hands was because I heard from a survivor when I was in high school, and that just made me want to advocate for human trafficking victims.
Hi, my name is Kofi Messiah. I am a neuroscience major and a senior. I'm also on the pre-med track as well. I also learned about human trafficking in high school through Cornelius McGrady, and ever since then I just wanted to make like an impact for change.
Hello, my name is Janai Ulysses. I am the Creative Director and Social Media Manager of In Safe Hands. I am a Systems and Behavioral Neuroscience major, also on the pre-med track. And I joined In Safe Hands because I wanted to be a part of a community that advocated for those who don't have that great of a voice.
Hello everyone, my name is Naj Romo. I'm a third year here at Ohio State University, major in medical anthropology, also on the pre-med track. The reason why I'm here is because I've heard a lot of stigmas around people who have been human trafficked, and I just wanted to be informed, but also inform other people.
And our lovely advisor, Dr. Jacqueline Islamaya, who's not in the room with us currently, but she's a 12-year human trafficking expert, and also in the College of Social Work. A great advocate, and you'll hear a lot more from her this semester. So this is just our announcements for today before we begin hearing from our survivors. But if you're not already on our group meet or haven't filled out the Google Forms, please take the time now to scan the QR code, follow our Instagram. That way you can stay informed and stay connected. Okay. All right. So without further ado, I would love the opportunity to introduce the amazing Barbara Freeman, who is a human trafficking survivor spokesperson. She's founded the Freeman Project to help women escape the traumas of sexual exploitation. She provides women with life-changing counseling. She provides practical resources to help trafficked women. The amazing, no one other than the amazing Barbara Freeman. Please give a round of applause.
Thank you. First, I want to just thank you for taking all the time today. Thank all of the students just for what they're doing to raise awareness and to bring about change. The fields that they're going in today are better paving the way for those that are either sitting in the room today, their families, their children, just for the new, community, and just the statistic of the children that are coming up today that are going to be affected by this. Do we think that human trafficking will change? I think that every voice has a reason, to make a change in life. So you can never say what's going to stop, but we can put a demand on it, and that's what we want to do, is we want to put a demand on it. So first, just let me tell you a little bit about my story and how I got involved in human trafficking. So at the age of 13 years old, I started to be coerced. What is coerced? Somebody that was basically bribing me with money, diamonds, fur coats, minks, at a young age. Did my family know what was going on? Did my mother pay attention as I was coming in at home, in school? I'm coming in, young girl. I'm talking about stacks of money. I'm talking about diamonds, wearing minks. I'm in older men's cars. And the first thing my mother said was, "Ooh, girl, he like you." But not really knowing what this guy's age was, what this guy was about, or anything. Now, this guy never tried to have sex with me. He never touched me or anything, but we would sit in his car. And he would always pull these joints from behind his ear, from out of his sock, and the ashtrays in the old school cars, where the ashtrays used to pull out like this. And so what he did is he got me addicted to crack cocaine. Once a predator, someone that is trafficking women, the thing that they want to do is they want to overtake your mind, because in that way they can control you. From that stems them luring you, soliciting you, profiting you to other men. Sometimes you'll run into a madam. A madam is the female. The female, they have the female controlling them because they won't get in trouble because they got the female to do the dirty work. So that's some of the things that we're running into society today. Let's see. Or how long were you trafficked? I was trafficked for 23 years. Some of the times it turned into prostitution because I became rebellious. So that means the control was running out. I had got older, being trafficked from a young age, being locked in rooms, being locked in basements, been kidnapped 3 times, raped 23 times. Kicked in my head 16 times, body found in the bushes, head this big, taken away from my family, my children, being threatened. I know where your family is, taking my ID, seeing what the address is, any way to bribe me to stay. When were you trafficked? I told you at the age of 13, I started being coerced. At the age of 16, I started being trafficked. It was the first time that I was held in a room with milk crates and a mattress on the floor. And do we really know what love is when we're young? No, we don't. So when somebody comes along and they show us some kind of form of love, some kind of act of love, especially if we're not getting it from the home, if we're not getting it from our parents, our siblings, the first time a guy comes along and he shows you a measure of love, man, you think it's just whoo. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We're like, whoo! It sparks flying, and everything, and you're gone. Don't let him put the whammy on you. I'm just keeping it real. Don't let him put the whammy on you. Now you really gone.
Keep it real, girl.
And you ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? You ain't going nowhere. Let him start giving you the money. Let him start, because he gonna go start buying you a little bit of stuff. You know what I'm saying? He gonna shine you up, polish you up. And he gonna say, this is my baby right here. You know what I'm saying? Watch out for that. Even in your age today, watch out for that. You know what I'm saying? Because they are ready to profit you. You know what I'm saying? I had a boyfriend. Let me tell you something. I had a boyfriend. He took me over to Hudson and Hiawatha. And he really liked me. He even knew my brother. Him and my brother used to hang together. He took me over there, took me in a house. There was 3 guys. He sold me to the guys. Wow. Could I leave? No. And they come in the room talking about, what's up, baby? I'm like, what do you mean? And they was like, well, we paid him for you. What you mean you paid him for me? And I was trying to call my parents, and they was like, no. I said, well, I just need to let them know where I'm at because I'm going to be late. They're going to start looking for me, da-da-da-da-da. And so when one went to go get the phone, the other one wasn't paying attention. Somebody knocked on the door. As soon as that door, I was gone. They started shooting gunshots. I ran to a police officer that was sitting in a car on the street. But what happened when I actually got into the form of human trafficking, the guy took me out to a bus stop. First he had a woman to come dress me up, get me together. He asked for my sizes. He took me out to a Barrel. It's an apartment complex called Capitol Park on Agler. He took me to some apartments. And across from there is a bus stop. And I sat at that bus stop, and that's the first time that a man rolled by. And he told the lady that I was with, she said she looked young because the younger they are, the more money they get. So no, you see how young I look now, right? How old you think I am?
21.
I think you right in my age. You just trying to make me blush. How old y'all think I am?
35.
35.
Okay, y'all think I'm in my 30s, right? Okay, so imagine how young I look now. Right? So imagine how old I looked at 20 years old. I'm 50.
What?
I'll be 51
You was
this year.
not 50, girl.
I'll be 51 this year. So just imagine.
That's crazy.
I still had ponytails in my hair and everything. You know, because I still wore the one ponytail with balls. You know what I'm saying? Until they came with the wraparound, get the fake weave, you know what I'm saying? And you wrap it around like this, have it up like Jeannie with the hair hanging down. Oh, I was her. Put me in a bottle, baby. You know what I'm saying? And then what they was doing, and they was rubbing it, getting all they can get. You know? They was rubbing it, getting all they can get. The next thing is, what allowed you to get out of the trafficking situation? Well, let me tell you something. I was at the point of brokenness. I had already hit so many bottoms. I had been raped so much, knives to my neck, guns to my head, kicked out of cars, everything, you know? And even after everything that I went through, I still went back, you know why? Because that became my life. That became my life. You know, my parents put me out. Because when they found out about the addiction, they didn't know nothing about it. My parents didn't do drugs, you know? So I went through a spiritual awakening. You know, I got the Holy Ghost and started speaking in tongues at about 11, 12 years old. So I already knew who God was, especially when I started speaking in tongues. You know what I'm saying? That came alive. I came alive, and it never left me. So no matter what I was going through, I was still praying and talking to God, letting him know, like, God, this is not me.
That's right.
This is not what you called me to be. So I know that there is a purpose that I am going through this.
Preach, girl.
You know, so while I was going through it, I knew for a fact that I was something special. I knew it. Couldn't nobody tell me. Everywhere that I was going, I was like, I'm special.
Yep.
Sometimes they'd be like, man, put her out. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm in there talking to them like I'm special. You know what I'm saying? I looked at myself to be above all of them. I don't know why, but God had put something on my life. But see, what it is we all got to go through something in life. You understand? And sometimes you don't understand, and sometimes things ain't to be understood. The thing is to keep your eyes and your faith on God and allow him to take you through your situation and walk you out. But you got to pray your way through it. Because faith without works is dead. I know that's right. Okay?
My drop.
So what it was is I was getting high. I was reading the Bible. Crying, tears dropping. You know, I never gave up on God. Never. One night I thought it was the rapture. All the lights went out, hit the alley. Got in the alley and I started calling on God. I started asking God, why did he leave me? At a very high tone. You have to watch my video on YouTube. I started asking God, God, why did you leave me? God, I am your daughter. And I started talking about Mary Magdalena. I started talking about the blind man he may see, the deaf that he may hear. The dead, he said, pick up your bed and walk. I started talking about his book. Because we know his book is the truth. For who believe, who don't, you know what I'm saying, I apologize. But, I'm not apologizing, but, you know, I accept whatever it is, as long as it ain't atheist. But anyway, so, I start telling him, like, I'm your daughter. And I believe that I have faith of a mustard seed, that if I touched the hem of your garment, and I was weeping, and I was stomping, and I was breaking down to my knees in the alley. And I reached in faith. And the next day I tried to get high, and I couldn't. My hands were like this. And I never had a problem getting high. But see, God had already did what he was going to do. But faith without works is dead. So I had to do the work. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up going to jail. When I went to jail, I went in there and I asked a lady for a Bible. When she gave me that Bible, I said, God, I cannot return to that life because the enemy is surely trying to kill me. And from that point, I went to Amethyst. I stayed in Amethyst for 2.5 years, and I did a program called Cash Court Program with Judge Paul Herbert. I was the first participant of the program. Taught the judge everything he knew, how to hold on to women, and not everybody is you're going to be able to save. But if you can just save one, then that's going to make all the difference. And so that's what you're here to do today. You're here to listen, you're here to learn, and you're here to know something to save someone. If you know something, say something. If you even haven't thought about it, call the human trafficking hotline. You just don't know, you be saving that person's life. Do you know who your neighbor is? Do you really know who your neighbor is? Your neighbor could just be somebody you're saying hello to every day. How you doing? You know what I'm saying? But let me tell you something. I was the girl that was laid down in the back of the car or either bending down in the car and I was drove into the garage. I was hurt. You know? So do you know who your neighbor is? So if you see something and something looks suspicious, if you see different girls or different guys, you know, going in and out of a house and they look young, you know, or it's a lot of traffic, then say something. Okay? All right. Now, some questions are going to be asked by the students. You can share, once one person share though, because we're allotted on time. So once one person share about it, some of my ladies will be sharing. Just be brief, okay? If it's something that I feel that I'm gonna answer, then I'll jump in and answer even behind your answer, okay? All right?
Yeah, I want to start us off. I feel like a lot of people have this disconnect between human trafficking. They think it's an international issue. Can you provide some information about where this is all occurring, like relative to Central Columbus, anywhere?
Okay. Well, let me tell you something. State line. You know what I'm saying? Human trafficking goes all across the state line. We are number.
3 now? 5?
We was 3. We was 3 because Toledo knocks us from the map.
Yeah.
Listen, we was at number 3. Would you think that? You know what I'm saying? Well, you know they made Vegas legal. You know what I'm saying? So anything that comes within that what's that? Is it 275 Highway 2?
270.
270 or whatever, like it's the main highway. You know, I-25 is the main highway. Coming through Atlanta is a main highway. You know, you got Nevada. You know what I'm saying? It's a main place. Phoenix. Arizona's really bad in human trafficking. You got Springfield. Springfield is a really bad place for human trafficking. Trafficking is in New York. When I went to New York, they got the subway where they would bring all the ladies in prostitution in. And all the men will be standing in there to pick them. And when I went to go do my movie, I'm telling you, I seen it right for myself. And I said, wow. It's just like it's modern. It's just like it's accepted. You know, because so many people are blinded to it. So is there some places that y'all can name that y'all know that are human trafficking?
Cleveland Avenue and Oakland Park.
Okay.
Bro, I live over there.
Cleveland Avenue, that was my main spot.
Upstate.
Okay, 6 years. 6 years.
God.
What? All up and down Cleveland Avenue.
What?
Yep.
You don't ever see that.
Long Street.
A lot of that is out, even on Blair.
Mount Vernon
Mount Vernon.
was my next stopping ground.
Joyce and Hudson.
Joyce and Hudson.
Maine and James.
Main and James.
Sullivan Avenue.
Sullivan Avenue.
I'm from the Big D and I'm Detroit. I've never heard about human trafficking.
And you never heard about it.
Until
Did
I
you think it was
on
just
TV.
prostitution going on?
More than that. I thought it was abuse, a lot of abuse.
Okay.
It's psychological.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, my stopping grounds was, go ahead.
Indianapolis, Indiana, main drag.
I'm sorry?
Indianapolis, Indiana, main drag.
But Columbus, Ohio? Huh? What? Listen. Anywhere you turn, baby. It's all the way up in Pickerington, Reynoldsburg. I got so many Reynoldsburg cases right now. Listen, all them suburbs, what? All their kids don't came to the inner city. Yeah. I guess that's why they're trying to come in and push us out. Cause all their kids don't ran here. Real talk. All their kids don't ran here. You know? But the first thing gonna say, oh, not my kids, why not? They the main ones down here stuck. We be in there talking about, girl, you better go home, you know what I'm saying? Your parents go, we always be nervous talking about, listen here, their parents gonna look for them. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. But then when they catch them, guess what? They locking our brothers up. And that's real talk. And they the ones won't leave and go home. I got a brother right now that's being locked up behind that, you know? But, go ahead.
So a lot of what we do is look at the intersection of like healthcare. At any point, did anyone seek out healthcare, and how did that interaction unfold? Was it beneficial? Did the physician or provider notice anything? Did they do anything or no?
Did y'all hear what he said?
Yes.
Okay.
No, they didn't do anything. We told them and they did nothing. They didn't help us or try to even help us or try to inquire on it. If I told them that I was being human trafficking and I was getting raped, they didn't believe me anyways.
They didn't believe you?
No,
A lot of times.
not even my mother.
My experience is that they just didn't want any part of it, so they didn't want to know anything about it whatsoever.
They turn their heads to it. Like a lot of families sweep it up under the rug because they don't want nobody to know about it. You know? I never went for help here. No. I never went inside of a house to sleep. I never went to the doctors, you know? It was rough for me. I stayed in the alleys and I stayed running the streets, back and forth, jumping in and out of cars, constantly. But by me working in Children's Hospital today, I educate them on everything that I can. You know, so now their education is broader, you know, and they're learning. Because the clinic that I work in are youth that are affected by human trafficking and also opiates and other drugs. So we see the girls coming in and they're saying they're staying in cars, they stand, you know, in abandoned buildings and everything. You know, so I get to ask the question, you know, are you being trafficked? And so sometimes the young girls be like, no. So then I have to pose a question, has anybody ever told you to go over there to kick it with old dude because he got some money? And it's like, yeah, my friend always be telling me, you was trafficked. Sometimes they own friend traffic them and they don't even know.
What has the result of your experience as a victim of human trafficking done for you in terms of like your mental health?
Woo! I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Now listen, real talk. And I'm gonna let some of the ladies touch on this because that's one of the things that that we work on in the treatment center that we in is mainly 9 times out of 10, every person that was human trafficked or even in prostitution or dealt with any type of drug has a severe mental health. So I deal with paranoia. I deal with PTSD. I deal with anxiety. I deal with a sleep problem, to where I have to take medication. That's from being kicked in my head. But it all brings about paranoia for me. Sometimes I'll go running through the door and they looking and I ain't even telling them like, I think some chasing me. You understand? Because the fear of all the trauma that has happened and taken place, and I'll let some of the girls give you a couple of situations if they want to on situations that cause their mental health.
Well, for me, I was getting human trafficking when I was on Cleveland Avenue. I had a boyfriend that would send me out there on the street, and I would go get money and come back, and he would get high with me. And if I didn't come back with no money, he would beat me, and he would do things to me that no other person would do. He had me on a corner, literally screaming and hollering for my mom. It hurts. It really hurts. When you get like you are, and you get to doing drugs, and you have nobody there for you, it kills your insides. I get paranoid. I got PTSD. I got anxiety. I have seizures from being beat in the head. I had cancer for twice, and I beat it, and I'm in remission right now. But it's hard out there for people. It's rough. It's like when you get in a relationship and you're on drugs, you don't know where that relationship is going to take you. It's like a roller coaster. You're up and down and up and down and up and down. And then when they send you out there and you don't come back with no money, they want to beat you. And they want to just down you and tell you you're worth nothing, you're not nothing. That's what it does. It really damages your brain. You got to get stronger and stronger. That's why I'm in a program right now that's helping me be strong. These are tears of joy. I'm happy now. I'm really happy that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But when that comes to human trafficking, it's a bitch. It's crazy. It's really crazy. It'll kill you. It'll kill your insides. It will kill your organs. It will break you down to the point where you gotta call to God and want God to help you and restore you and renew your mind. You gotta go to your little place to where you are just right and there, and it's just you and him. That's what you gotta do.
Thank you, sister. Can someone else share about the mental health that they deal with?
I had low self-esteem and really bad depression. My grocer's father had me out on Broad Street prostituting. I was actually robbing the Johns, and I had got raped, and I got raped from back to front. In that time, I caught an STD. So now I live with the fear of not being loved by anybody because I have that today.
Thank you.
I'm out of questions. If open it up to any of the other equal members, I know there's some more on the sheet.
Do you wanna go down to the community?
We can go down to that.
Okay. So now we wanna talk
She has a
about,
question. So, it was more so for you, and then like the other people that you brought in, did you guys go through like therapy, or like, besides this program that you guys are in? I don't know if you can touch on that program, but what steps did you take to heal? And like, are you still healing, or like is it an ongoing process for you, or like how, like, could you like touch on that?
okay. So for me, I am 13 and a half years out of life. And I can tell you that I'm still affected, you know? I'm affected with trust issues, you know? So now I'm going to a counselor myself. I even had to end a marriage that I just got in a year ago. And I don't know if it was just because of how he was treating me, or is it because of my paranoia and the trust issues that I had? Because once it's triggered, it's done. Once it's triggered, it's over. You know, like I can never trust you again because I'm always looking for something because you done me wrong, you know? But he did do me wrong though, you know what I'm saying? But it was a lot of times, and it triggered it where I can't get that back. So it destroyed my marriage, you know? Another thing is I did EMDR. I did EMDR, it focuses on trauma. You know, I did the acupuncture that they put behind, you know, your ears. That helps with the anxiety and depression and all of that good stuff. I did the sozo. The sozo is where they allow you to talk to God. They want to hear what God is telling you. I did that through a church. Like I said, I do the counseling. I did marriage counseling. I did spiritual awakening. Just to try to bring me out of it, you know, so that I can live life, because it's so hard to live life. It's so hard to live life with the mental health trauma. You know, ladies, what are some of the things that you have tried going through mental health other than just being the next step?
I went to,
Wait a minute, give me a second. Let somebody else.
okay.
I also tried, my experience, I also tried the EMDR, and it really did help a lot. I had a lot of trust issues, especially with my mother, because she was the one who put me out there, and the first time. So I had to just talk about it, you know, I had to cry about it and scream about it. I had to talk about it. The more I left it on me, like, it was the worse it got, you know.
Anybody else? Anything other different that you tried? Or that you had to go through with the mental health?
I'll say meditation works. It's there. It's just something that you just got to deal with on a daily basis, and it's hard to get over it, and it's hard to get through it. You know, meditation does help, and just talking to people. Definitely got to have a support system.
Anybody else?
I think it's just something that we're gonna have to live with forever. It's kind of like a maintenance to it. Mental health. I have a traumatic brain injury that it'll just progress. So if I don't stay in counseling and on my mental health meds and stuff like that, it'll just be out of control. And it'll take over my life. It's ruin relationships and stuff like that. You know? It's like a maintenance.
You know, and you know what? And it's so crazy, you know, and I'm not just speaking for myself, but when it's somebody that you really love, you know, and they don't understand your mental health, you understand what I'm saying? And no matter what, you know, you can't get them to understand it, you know. But little do you know, a lot of people, that person might have some mental health too, it just doesn't fluctuate the way that yours does. But the main thing that we cope with is medication. But that's also a downside of it. You know what I'm saying? It's a downside of it because it has so many effects. It causes diabetes, you know, it causes eyesight, it causes switches to your mouth, you know what I'm saying? It causes the imbalance. And because what they do is they keep trying you on this medication and this medication, they treat you like a guinea pig, you know? So when I went to prison, I did 13 years in prison. So when I went to prison, you know, they had like 7 different medications, and one medication was called Geodon. Okay, so the Geodon had me where I was up, I was down. I made my bed, I messed the bed up. I went outside, I lit a cigarette, I put the cigarette out, I turned around, went back in, put my clothes on, took my clothes off. I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it. You know, so they had a count time. So if you're not at your bed by count time, they lock you up in the hub. But there was no way that I could stay still. So I went to him and I said, listen, y'all gonna have to send me back over to the medical because I'm about to have a nervous breakdown. I said, I needed to be back on my regular medication, which was Seroquel, okay? But they wanted to try something different because anytime you go in to the physician and you tell the physician, oh, I felt like this last night. Okay, that was just a mood. You understand what I'm saying? Talk me through it. Don't give me a new medication. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm on 8 different medications. If that person ain't in that week and another psychiatrist in there and it's your turn to go see the psychiatrist and you say, I had a nightmare that, oh, well, let us increase this. And I swear to God, this is how it goes. This is exactly how it goes. So now when I see ladies with a bag of medication, the system was already designed to kill us, especially black people. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? To kill us off. It was already designed. So I had to study every medication that I was taking. And when I was done, I ended up with 2 instead of them 8. And I have been cool. You know what I'm saying? I can control myself. I still have some stuff going on up here. My mind study races, and I can't stop it. You know what I'm saying? I will create something in my mind and believe that it's true. And you cannot tell me that did not happen. You understand? Go ahead.
When they were changing your medication, like, were they telling you, or were they just like switching out medication without you even knowing like what you're doing?
I mean, they tell you, but you sitting there just being like,
Okay.
okay. You know what I'm saying? You going home and you taking this medication. You know what I'm saying? And then you wondering why you, excuse my language, fucked up. But let me tell you something. Listen to this. When I seen them girls in prison talking to trees and had on orange lipsticks with 3 layers of clothes, and they sitting there like, I said, and I noticed that when they took that medication, you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, they was calm. But when they was coming down from that medication, they was like, out there talking to trees. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious. 90-degree weather with 3-4 layers of clothes on. Bright red lipstick and looking crazy. I said, I bet I don't. And that's the first place that they will do that to you is in the infirmary, in jail, locked up. You know what I'm saying? And the mental health system. I'm serious because that's how they get their money. As soon as they prescribe you a drug.
So, right now, you're kind of talking to a lot of people who are interested in moving into this career space where they're providers. What can we do as future providers to kind of better serve trafficked women, especially right here in Central Columbus? What can we do?
I think that there should better be some natural ways of healing. And I don't know myself what those are. You understand? I mean, Sozo was one where you didn't have to use medication. EMDR was something you didn't have to use medication. You know what I'm saying? Those were some ways, some natural healing ways. If it's spiritual, whatever it is, it's talking them through it, helping them to face reality. helping them to face life on life terms. Cause let me tell you something, I didn't know how to live. I was scared of life. You know why? Cause I was in the dark for so long. You know? Do you think I need medication for that? I don't need medication for that. What I need is somebody to take me and guide me. And I didn't know how to fill out a money order or anything. I was scared. As soon as I stepped on the front porch, it was different because I had been in the dark for so long. You know? So I had to be reconnected back with society. I had to be reconnected back with life. Life on life terms, to know that anytime it could be a life-changing event. Now, do I deal with it to go get high? Or do I deal with it face on? In a different way and get different results. Instead of me being medicated. Because if I go tell them that, man, I'm going to be on a whole lot of medications. You know? So just a natural way. You know? You want to say something so bad, but I know you did. No. Okay. You did?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I mean, you got a voice.
I
You
know.
sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else, or you want to go down to the? All right. So, ladies. All right. I am generally talking to the black community. Don't nobody be offended. All right. Why is human trafficking a problem in the black community?
Because it's children around there, it's people's lives, grandmothers, mothers. It's worse. It makes the ladies beat themselves up, tear themselves down. It takes away their whole identity. It makes them really depressed and stressed out to where they go to drugs.
Anybody else want to take a shot at it? Let me tell you, because we were already generated as slaves. We were already generated as slaves. And then it's sad that our own kind try to be our masters, to traffic us. They locking girls up in cages, cutting their bodies up, putting their bodies in containers and freezers. They want to pimp out their own kind. Every pimp I had was black. The reverse cycle. Our own kind is against us. Does race play a role in the opinion when it comes to human trafficking? It does. They will traffic us before them. I'm sorry. I'm gonna tell y'all the honest God's truth. Don't nobody get offended because y'all know I keep it real. Listen to this. I would be in the trap house, right? They be sitting up over there treating a white girl or Caucasian, whatever, nice. She's sitting up with them. And she getting fed it. I walk out. What you gonna go make happen? Bitch.
Right.
Who? This is real talk, man. Seriously. My own kind. You know? Does race play a role in who gets treatment, diversion programs, avoid jail time, etc.?
Yes.
Talk about it, Eric.
Just me being in the program now, you can be treated real bad. I've been bullied, for no reason. You know what I'm saying? I just went through something. I don't want to bring it up, but yeah. Why? I haven't did nothing to you. Nothing at all, but this too shall pass, you know what I mean?
Okay, let me stop. We're talking about by the diversion of the program, like those that run the programs. So I'm sorry, let me clear that up, okay? And let me just say something, and to avoid jail time and stuff like that, a lot of times it's kind of balanced now. But a lot of times you will see more of them go and us stay. And we down at the farm in ORW. Real talk. what I'm saying? We get to jail time and they get probation. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times it's because their parents had the money to pay to either get them out. You know what I'm saying? You know, our families look at it like, keep their asses there because we know where they're at. Their parents like, oh, get my baby out of there. You know what I'm saying? Grandma coming, I'm sorry. And ain't nothing wrong with it. Nothing's wrong with it at all. Now, we kind of balance. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get mine, I'm sorry. You know, I know the main thing is they want a number out of them. You know? So it is kind of balanced now because I work in the jail system. I work with the courts. You know what I'm saying? So they sending them too. I mean, they sending everybody. I'm sorry. They sending everybody now. Do you feel like there's a difference in how women of color are treated in clinical spaces? Do women of color receive access to the same resources as their counterparts? You shaking your head. I want to hear what you guys think.
Oh, it got me started.
You started.
Obviously, we know that Black women aren't treated the same as other skin colors in the healthcare system. And like you said, the system was already made to kill us off. So how can we survive in a system that wasn't made for us? You know what I'm saying? So it's actually really frustrating seeing that women of color are deemed as like, oh, we're complaining too much when we're not getting this type of treatment, or like we're asking for too much when we just want the same. You know what I'm saying? So listen.
Can I tell y'all something that's true? Y'all gonna crack up. Y'all remember the government cheese? Y'all probably too young. Y'all remember the big blocks of government cheese?
Yes.
Y'all remember? Huh? Y'all know what? Y'all will never believe this. Do y'all know that cheese is here to kill the Black people off?
That cheese or orange cheese?
Cheese.
American.
Period.
We're gonna die.
Listen, it's something inside. It's some. I know that's mine. Y'all laughing. I'm seeing, man. Y'all better read about that cheese. Listen here, man. If y'all don't read about that cheese got something in it to kill off the Black community. Listen to what I'm telling you. They prescribe us certain medications. Listen, they prescribe us certain medications to kill us off, to stop us from being able to produce. You understand? Real talk. Why some women have a menopause at 25? Who tries to adopt kids more? African American. Could you describe, what's that, pivotal movements during your journey that led you to be an advocate for human trafficking?
I think
Pivotal.
Pivotal. First, tell me what pivotal means.
it's change.
Change. Okay. All right. Could you describe change movements during your journey that led you to be an advocate for human trafficking? Well, the change journey was me being a human trafficking survivor, and when I graduated from Amethyst, I got a card. I started writing in the streets of Ohio, talking to any woman, telling them my story, because I couldn't just keep riding past them every day, knowing that my life was saved and their life was still being damaged. Any woman of color, it didn't matter, you know. And I would get out in the winter, in the rain, whatever, and I would pray with them, and I would tell them my story, and I would get them my card. And I would let them know what I've been through, and I let them know that I made it out and that God could do the same thing for them. You know, from that, I started doing speaking engagements. I started with Judge Paul Herbert. I started speaking in the prisons. I started speaking in a lot of colleges. I started speaking with Dr. Jacqueline Shemaya, which is my sister, that had me to start using my voice. So once I started using my voice, I started being heard. Now, everybody from everywhere, even in the programs, they want Barbara Freeman, you know? So then at a speaking engagement, a pastor heard me, I opened a house. He gave me a 6-bedroom house, paid for it. I opened a house, it's called the Freeman House. And it holds 4 women, and the women can live there for a year. And that is for them to get themselves together, and I usually don't take them in unless they have 4 to 6 months sober. And I help them to generate and get their lives back together. And then they can go back out to society. You know, we pay their first month's rent deposit and help them get furniture. So everything that I have done as a survivor and an advocate is to save a life and to be the next Harriet Tubman, pulling a slave free of human trafficking one by one out of the muck. Any more questions?
Yeah, I want to open the floor to anyone if they have any questions at all for Barbara or her speakers or her guests.
I have a question. So earlier we spoke about like the different areas where human trafficking is occurring within Columbus. I am from Columbus and I've been here my whole life, but I feel like I rarely see it. So what is it? Like, am I not going to those areas? Because she says she lives right on Cleveland Avenue and I knew nothing.
You'll see them standing on the corner,
Don't see the
or
girls out there?
you'll see them out walking the streets, up and down the streets and stuff.
I just never associated it with there being trafficking.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I think I want to answer that question actually. There's a quote up there that says, "You can't see what you don't know." Right? So you not being knowledgeable about the information means that you can't see it. And so that's the reason why you never saw it before. So education is first and foremost.
So let me tell you something. When you see that girl walking up and down the street, you know what I'm saying? She's out there to make the money, to take it back to the drug dealer. The drug dealer now, as the law is written, is the pimp.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's selling a substance that's controlling them. You understand? That's gonna mind fuck them. You know what I'm saying? And now they're going to make that money. Today, they barely have to pimp because the drug does it enough.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? As long as they give them the drug, they know they're coming back. The only way that it became a part of the trafficking is because they started fighting over her. So now they gotta start pimping. She belonged to me. And he gonna brand her. If she go over here, how many been beat on because they went and bought dope from somebody else? Cause he like, nah, you better come back here. She mine, man, what she doing over there at your house? No, she spending her money with me. What is that?
Slavery.
Exactly.
I have a question for you, Barbara. Are pimps still putting tattoos on women they call their...
We haven't heard of, you know what I'm saying, we haven't, basically, heard about the branding. It's been more of the outskirt places.
Oh.
Like Arizona, and stuff like that. They still do stuff like that. Texas, Las Vegas, they do stuff like that. They out there spending big money. You know what I'm saying? Here, this penny ante money. So.
Why do people do it, right? The pimps. Why do they engage in human trafficking? A lot of people don't know why.
Let me tell you why.
Yeah.
I hate to say it like this. Listen here, they punks. They punks. And they wasn't raised by a father. They wasn't taught how to be a real man. That's the problem. Because see, most of our kind are locked up in prison. They took them out of the homes. And a lot of times they left out of the home. Leaving that young boy to fend for himself. So the quickest way that he can make $1, because see now the older ones are coaching the younger ones. So they can sit up in their spots all night and traffic the women by selling them drugs. Real talk. And they sitting somewhere so they don't get caught on the phone running it. And when they gotta go re-up, they go to where the older ones are. They re-up, they come back. You understand what I'm saying? But now the one that's generating it, he might have the main ones at his house, or they posted in a hotel. Mm-hmm. Real talk. Young punk, dumb, lazy, don't want to get a job, want to make the fast money off of a woman. Now it's even a man too.
You mentioned how it takes several attempts for you to, get away from that life. I was at a concert recently and I noticed a situation like that where the girl was being abused and I had interjected myself in the situation and stepped in and separated them for a little bit, and before I even turned around they were both gone. So in that situation, what would you have recommended I do? Because it's not that's her decision. whatever she chooses to do with her aggressor. Like I can't necessarily like call the hotline, but could I have like given her like my phone number to call or something
Yep.
like that?
You could have gave her your phone number, you could have called 911 instantly. Just gave a description, you know, and let them know, like, I don't know exactly what this was, but there's this guy, this is where they are, this is the direction that they're headed, this is where I'm at. You understand what I'm saying?
In your experience, do you think like calling law enforcement has helped a lot? Because I know a lot of people.
It has.
Hesitancy.
It has. They do a lot of buses now. You know, they do a whole lot of buses, you know. They basically try to get the ringleader. You know, so a long time they'll watch and they'll investigate. Yeah. No more questions?
I was hesitant about asking it, but I'm just gonna go. Are we finding that nowadays, the trafficking isn't so much happening on the street, but now like through online services?
It's a lot of online services, it's a lot of back page. It's still a lot of that going on, and because the ladies have been being busted so much, they went back to the phones. So the ladies are so good now using their own phones. I mean, they think they're doing something really cute, you know what I'm saying? So we have police officers that are on the back pages, you know, and set them up in the hotels. They act like they going to trick with them, to have sex with them. They get them there, they get in there, they bust them. Yeah.
I just want to ask one more question. You kind of alluded to what you do now at Nationwide Children's, but if you could explain one more time, and then kind of give some information about how you approach someone you suspect in a clinical space, right? Not a lot of people will come out and tell you that something's going on, especially if the John is right there. So how do you build that rapport and that relationship to kind of get information and help interject?
Okay, so what I do at Nationwide Children's Hospital is I am a peer recovery advocate, okay? I am also a doctor's assistant. So I work in clinic and I work in the field. So when I'm working in the clinic and I have a patient, and 9 times out of 10, it's a patient that has been referred to me. It's a patient that's on drugs, it's a patient that's being abused, a patient that might think is being trafficked, a patient that is homeless, dealing with a lot of things. When I go into the clinic room, I'm so boastful. I'm just like, hey girl, how you doing? You know, that's me. You know, especially if they're young. Yeah. You gotta be on their level. Ain't nothing professional about this. Real talk. When you talking about a light up, I'm going in like, hello, hi. She ain't telling you shit. Real talk. But she ain't telling you jack. You better forget it. You know what I'm saying? You better not come with, hello. Well, I'm such and such. How are you doing today? She just wants you to give her them Suboxones or that damn Vivitrol, so she can go on out there. She can't sell the Vivitrol, but she can sell a Suboxone. You understand what I'm saying? She gonna sell the gabapentin. You know what I'm saying? Listen here. Just say what you gotta say, lady. You can go on. But the way I'm coming in, they be like, and the doctors never understand. They never understand. Because I'm coming in like, what's up, girl? They had you look cute today. You know? I be like, man, what you doing? What you doing out there? You know? They be like, oh. I be like, well, let me tell you about me. I said, I'm Barbara Freeman. You know, I'm a doctor's assistant. I am a peer recovery supporter. I'm a recovering addict. I used to smoke crack. I used to prostitute. I used to boom, break the ice. Now, what you do? Don't tell me nothing. What you do? And sometimes I have to go in like, I'm not accusing you, and I'm not making assumptions. But the way that your life is going and what I read in your chart, something is going on. So let's talk about it. Because I'm not here to fail you. She bought. Or she gonna start talking. And guess what she tell me? I like you. Cause I ain't never had nobody to keep it real with me. And I ain't never had nobody to understand. I said, well, I understand. Cause I've been through it. I said, if you keep going the way that you go, you might not make it out. That's my whole approach.
Barbara is my base manager through Children's Hospital. I feel like if it wasn't with her help teaching me how to love myself and let me know that I needed a higher level of care, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. Barb kept it real with me. She told me to call when I was ready. She still helped provide me with food while I was using. She still took me to the store. And it just showed me that I had somebody that was there for me when I wasn't there for myself. So that meant a lot to me. And she's going to be a part of my recovery story from here on out.
Thank you. Thank you. One thing is never give up on them. You might get frustrated, or you might keep seeing them coming back. The thing is to never give up on them, because you never know when their time is for deliverance. And it might just be something that you say genuinely from your heart. And sometimes you gotta step out of your field. You understand what I'm saying? Because you're actually dealing with a life. Sometimes you have to step out of your field to save a life. I'll tell them in a minute. Don't never expect me to go by the laws. Don't never expect me to go by your rules of this job. You understand? Because my assignment from God is to save a life. And if I put on there what your rules are, it's restricting me for what God is calling me to do. So guess what? I take them shopping. I take them to get the nails done, go get their hair done. You know what I'm saying? When I get them in the street and I go take them to the program, I'm going to buy them clothes. Because I want them to feel like me. I don't want them to feel like what society has done to them. I want them to feel like me. I get on the phone, I call somebody like, hey, you got $300? That's Jamie Meyer, because that's it. Listen! I need $400 for a survivor right now, you know what I'm saying? I need to put her in a hotel. You understand? She might be out there trafficking, getting trafficked just because she started off trying to pay her rent. Or because her baby needed food. Ask me why I work 3 jobs. I do motivational speaking and I run 2 businesses. Because I need enough money to pave the way for somebody else, I gotta pay it forward. Didn't nobody do it for me. But because I know what it felt like, I'm gonna do it for somebody else. I close.
I just want to give one more round of applause to our guest speakers today. With that concludes the meeting. I really want to thank everyone for coming. If you have any questions, please ask or see any one of us on the e-board. Regarding like the membership fees, you have time if you're interested in becoming a full-time member. So no rush. If you'd like to see the treasurer now, we do Cash App, we take cash, whatever. And yeah, we'll be meeting again in 2 weeks' time, so make sure you're following the group meeting or Instagram and or have filled out that Google Forms to stay informed. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna make a donation. I'm gonna make a donation for you guys. For my ladies, okay?
Thank you.
I'm here.
Thank you so much.